All right, looks like we're live on Facebook. I don't know about Instagram though. I'm going to try one more time here. Here we go. Live. Flip it. All right. Well, forget about Instagram again. All right, so here we are. Sorry for the delay, guys. So we're talking about life purpose today, and I said we're going to do this in three parts. We started 2 weeks ago, actually. I was going to continue last week, but I was camping last week, and I planned on doing it from the beach, but I was having so much fun swimming in the ocean, I completely forgot. So here we are, 2 weeks later. I gave you some background on this life purpose clarification process in 2 weeks ago. So go back and watch that if you want some background on this. Well, we're just going to go right into the exercise today. So it's an exercise I've done with thousands of people now in workshops and one-on-one sometimes. And so basically, we're coming up with the most succinct and powerful phrasing for why you're here on the planet. So you're going to want to write down some of the answers to these questions. Um, let's see. Usually, I get feedback from people as I'm asking these questions, but I'll guide you through it the best I can. And by the way, if you want to do this one-on-one with me, I've got a pretty busy schedule right now, but if I don't usually get a lot of response from this invitation, so we'll probably be able to fit you in if you want to do this one-on-one with me. So the first question is how I define life purpose, by the way, in a general sense, is what we love to do that makes the world a better place. I'm sure I said this in the previous video as well. So it's not a job or an activity, because if it was my job and I lost my job, then I'd lose my life purpose. Well, that's not possible, right? So it's got to be something more meaningful than that. It's got to be a core quality that we actually, I believe, we're born with and we go out with. It can evolve, of course. The words for it can evolve because our understanding of it obviously evolves as we move through our life. So the first question is, it's a core quality, understanding that it is a core quality. What do you love to do that makes the world a better place? What do you love to do that makes the world a better place? So write it down if you can, or just reflect on the answer to that. And if you're coming up with an activity, then here's the follow-up question. Let's say you say it's writing, or you say it's art, or you say it's um, uh, creating financial, sound financial plans for people. Then when you are doing any of these activities, what is the most experience, profound or meaningful experience or a quality or feeling that you want people to get as a result of reading your writing or viewing your art or getting a financial plan from you? What's the most profound or meaningful experience? And even if you didn't say writing or art, this could be a second question. What is the most profound or meaningful experience that you want people to have when they're interacting with you in any way? Give you a moment to reflect on that. Second question is, what is the most, or really it's kind of the third question, what is the most important quality or guidance that you did not receive enough of as a child? Most important quality or guidance you did not receive enough of as a child. So some people have a long list. If that's the case, what is the most important? And for some people, I might have to shift that a little bit or reframe it in terms of, Okay, let's say that I didn't get enough love, then what would have been different for me if I would have had more love? I might be hmm, more powerful, more able to create the life that I want to live. So the quality of guidance you didn't get enough of as a child. And the follow-up question to that is, how does it feel when you create that experience, the fulfillment of that childhood lack for someone else? And for most people, this is where the light goes on. This is the strongest indicator of life purpose. What we didn't get enough of is most often what we most want to create in the world. And it's a double-edged sword because what we didn't get enough of is what we most want to create for other people and in the world. And it's also been the most challenging thing to create for ourselves, which is why it's so meaningful when we offer this experience for someone else. Now, some people might say, well, I'm not very good at offering that to other people. And that's okay. It could be an indication of your life purpose. So now we're ready to compose the life purpose definition, the most succinct and powerful phrasing for why you're here on the planet. So most often, and none of these are rules, they're just guidelines that I've found helpful for doing this with thousands of people. So most often, it starts as an I statement. I, and then most often, the quality or the fulfillment of the childhood lack is the subject of it. And then we just need to connect it with a verb. So an example, my life purpose definition is I empower people to feel accepted. Empower people to feel accepted. So if if your childhood lack was, I didn't get enough support, how does it feel when you support other people? So it could be, um, I create support for people. I assist people in feeling supported. I um, I empower people to feel supported. I inspire people to feel supported. And play with that verb. There can be many different verbs. And by the way, the wording is really important. When I do this in workshops or one-on-one, I might just invite one different word. Like if it's inspire, maybe it's empower. And it can change everything for someone. So the wording is very important. And people can go from, you know, ho-hum to crying or laughing out loud when we get the wording right on. So play with the wording. So if it's, I didn't get, let's say, and support is pretty general. So support for what, right? Well, I didn't get support um, to have confidence in creating the life that I want. So maybe maybe support is then the verb. I support people to feel confident. Okay. So it's really important that you identify that childhood lack. And then again, first, well, I'll come back to that in a moment. If it is for you, the childhood lack, that is the subject. And it's important that you really identify that clearly and then put it into this life purpose definition. And by the way, 7 words or less, usually the shorter the better. So sometimes I might um, help people edit it or pare it down to the most succinct phrasing. So if you say, in fact, and one little clue about that or hint is, if I say, um, I support people to feel confident through um, my art or my writing or my financial planning. Um, Usually it's more powerful if you just eliminate everything, the through and anything that comes off of that. So try it both ways. I I empower people or I support people to feel confident through through my writing. Just try it that way and then try it without the through. And almost always it's more powerful. Not always, again, these aren't rules, just guidelines, but it's almost always more powerful if you take the through off. Because if it's a through, that's then, channeling it through a specific medium, right? As I said in the previous video, if you can't fulfill your life purpose standing in line in the supermarket, then make it more general so you can fulfill your life purpose through standing in line at the supermarket or at any moment in time. And so once you identify this, try different wordings for it. And again, check out what feels most powerful. And then write that down. And then my encouragement, as I said in the last video, is to use this now as a mantra that you take into every area of your life. And by the way, no one, in doing this with thousands of people, I've never found one person that was surprised by the life purpose definition, right? Because you've already been doing it all of your life. In some areas of your life, you're probably doing it more effectively than others. And again, it's probably been challenging to create this experience for you. And again, that's why it's the most meaningful thing that you can give to others. So you create a mantra, you bring it in every area of your life. As an example, I like to say, with whom in your life do you have the most conflict? And the next time you interact with that person, if your clear intention is to fulfill this purpose for that person and for yourself in this interaction, then that's going to shift the dynamic of this relationship, right? So that's probably one of the areas where you're not someone with whom you have conflict, not as masterful at applying your life purpose. With the people that you like, you're probably really good. In fact, sometimes people will say, "Oh gosh, I can see that as a life purpose, but I'm not very good at it." And then I'll share a little story. I was doing this at a whole life expo or a conscious living expo years and years ago, and the woman said, I can see that I would love to be able to do that well, but I'm not very good at fulfilling that life purpose. And next to her was sitting a friend of hers. And I said to the friend, does this friend of yours fulfill that purpose for you? And she said, absolutely, right? So look at the people closest in your life, and I guarantee you, you're already fulfilling your life purpose for that person. So what we're going to do in the next video is then to really get a clear picture of the most direct and fulfilling way that you can fulfill your life purpose, not only in a general sense, but um, through career or service or vocation. I want to say a little bit more about fulfilling your purpose in the here and now, because what I've found is that the most magical and effective formula for arriving at your most fulfilling life and your most fulfilling career and service activity is to A, fulfill your life purpose in the here and now, and B, have a really clear vision of fulfilling your life purpose in the most ideal and powerful and fulfilling way, an effective way in the future. Because fulfilling your life purpose in the here and now is will is what creates it creates a more passionate life and a desire to fulfill it in more and more meaningful ways and having a vision. So it's that energy then pushes you forward in your life, and having a clear vision for how you want to fulfill your purpose in the most meaningful way then pulls you forward. So now you've got the energy of your life purpose in the here and now pushing you, driving you forward, and the vision for your life pulling you forward. And that is the most magical formula. So what happens when we're fulfilling our life purpose in the here and now? In other words, using your life purpose definition as a mantra that you take into every experience is every time you fulfill that life purpose, hi Naomi, every time you fulfill it, then you rise to the highest level of your potential in that moment. and you're making people's lives better, more fulfilled as a result of sharing your purpose, and you get that feedback. And so then you are fulfilling your life purpose consistently in your life. And I have found that's not only the most um, magical formula for arriving at your ideal life purpose fulfillment, but it is the greatest healing elixir. I don't remember if I shared this in the last video, but I think I did, is that when I was chronically ill and coming out of that and starting to heal, and I went out and started doing some lectures to some small groups, and that energy of my life purpose was flowing through me, then my healing exponentially sped up because the most healing elixir is the fulfillment of our life purpose because our soul energy, that light and love of spirit is pouring through us when we are fulfilling our life purpose, having a clear intention to fulfill it. And by the way, what I'm sure I said in the last video as well is wherever we are in our life, whatever our job situation is the perfect place to be to learn how to up level our the fulfillment of our life purpose, to develop the skills and talents that we need most in order to fulfill this life purpose in higher and more meaningful ways. So when I was working at Sage Publications, it wasn't always easy to balance the the company objectives with my intention to empower people to feel accepted, right? That's usually not the bottom line objective of people in the corporate world. But I realized that if I can fulfill, or at least, and there are times when I'm sure I failed at empowering people to feel accepted, but I knew that if this is my clear intention, consistent intention, that this is helping me to fulfill my life purpose in more and more meaningful ways, developing those skills and talents. And I tell you that the work that I do now is far more fulfilling than it was working for Sage Publications, even though that was fulfilling in many ways. And the skills and talents that I learned from that vocation and from having that clear intention is what allows me to fulfill my purpose now, not only in a more fulfilling way, but in even a more financially rewarding way than I was working at Sage Publications. And, my intention for many years, and it's taken probably 15 years for me to get here, is I thought all along that at some point, and they were throwing a six-figure income at me at the time. At some point, I'll be receiving even more financial appreciation for what I do than I did in that job. And it's less stressful. It's more meaningful. I'm empowering people in even more direct ways. So what we're going to address next week is, and here's the question to ponder between now and then, is what is the most direct way that you can fulfill your life purpose as you have defined it? And I'm going to say more about that in a moment, but it just reminds me to, if you didn't get enough of this and you don't want to, you know, uh, contact me to do a one-on-one session that either we'll do together or one of my life coaches will. But again, unless I get a flood of people, I'm sure I'll be able to fit you into my schedule within the next month or so. But if you don't want to even do that, go to the website, our website, livingpurposeinstitute.com, and just click on the thing that says clarify my life purpose in 5 minutes, I think. It really can take 5 to 10 minutes. And it'll just walk you through the same process. And it'll give you a lot of different options to choose. So if you haven't come up with a wording, that's one way to do it. Another way is to just, send me a text or an email or just put in the comments and we'll get in contact with you. So what we'll do next week then is once you've identified, and let me say a little bit more about the most direct way, because sometimes people will come up with something that isn't a really good match. If my life purpose is to empower people to feel supported or to have more confidence, um, then somebody might say, well, I could drive a truck and I can do it that way. Well, it's not a very direct, and you can fulfill your life purpose through driving a truck, in, waving to people, in every way that you communicate with the people that you are delivering goods for, or whatever it might be. I have a client now who drives a truck, so it might be meaningful for that person, and he watches these regularly. So, so hats off to you. Um, but but if you're having a hard time deciding what's the most direct way, then another clarifying question is, what are the occupations where people could come to someone to receive more confidence, right? And so that's one way to clarify it. So we'll spend more time on this next time. But for now, just take that mantra of your life purpose and put it into every area of your life. Some people, I think I said this last time too, that if you're going for a job interview, for example, because a lot of people have been out of work as a result of the pandemic, rather than saying in interviewing for a job, how can I answer these questions that I'm being asked in a way that'll get me the job? Ask, how can I fulfill my life purpose with this person who's interviewing me? And I guarantee you that by answering that question, you will rise to your heights. Well, you'll give the best possible interview you possibly can. Because when you are fulfilling your life purpose in the moment, in the here and now, you always rise to your highest. You're not just pulling an affirmation out of the air. This is the most succinct and powerful phrasing for why you are here on the planet. So that's our offering for today, and play with it. Anything that I offer in these videos, don't take it too seriously. Play with it. Treat it as an experiment. Have fun with it. The more we have fun with whatever our intention is in life, um, just the better life goes. I guarantee that. So have fun, my friends, and have a great weekend, and we will see you next week. Blessings and joy to you.